So in the previous sessions, we have discussed some basic things needed for the Java, like data types, like variables, variable declaration, and operators, as well as control statements. So these are the basic things to learn, uh, basic things needed to learn any programming language. So Java Java needs all these concepts: data types, variables, operators, control statements, if statements, switch statements, loops, for each statements, as well as jump and continue. So all these are needed to write a simple Java programs, basic Java programs. So next concept is, so in the previously we have said that Java is purely object-oriented programming language. That means, so Java program has classes. So each class has its own members. That means class members. We can call it as class members. So each class has its own variables as well as methods. So these variables and methods are encapsulated as one class. So data encapsulation. So Java strictly follows the object oriented principles. That means classes, object encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, all these things will support in Java. So Java has all these features. So first one, next chapter, second chapter. Up to now, we have completed the chapter one, first chapter. So basic things, all the basic things are covered in the chapter one. So next one, classes and objects. So in the second unit, as per the syllabus, in the second unit, we have classes and objects as well as methods. Classes, objects, and methods. So all these things comes under second unit. So first Java feature, first object oriented feature is classes and objects. So what do you mean by classes? What do you mean by objects? How can you differentiate these things, class and object? Suppose I have taken the class as bird or birds. I have taken the class as birds. Class name is birds. Here identifier is birds. Class is a keyword. Then class consists of, this is a class. Body of the class. Class consists of class members. Class consists of class members. So class members are variables. That means we can call it as fields. Variables, objects, methods, interfaces, etc. Nested classes, all these things comes under class members. So typically a class consists of a class members. So class members are either variables or objects or methods or interfaces or any nested class, either superclass or subclass. So normally variables are named as fields. So each class has class members. Each class consists of class members. So what is the syntax for class? You can write the syntax: modifier space class space identifier braces, within the braces class members, close the class. So this is the basic syntax for defining the class. So this is the basic syntax for declaring the class or defining the class. So class has modifier. So class has modifier. What do you mean by modifier? Class has modifier. So we are declaring that here birds is a class. So this class is defined without a modifier. That is public, private, any access specifier. So typically the class syntax is like this: modifier space class space identifier. Identifier is class name. Identifier means class name. Identifier means class name. Within the braces, class members. So that class members may be either variables or objects or any methods or any interface or any subclass. It may be any subclass. So typically we can define the class as like this. Suppose take an example, birds. Here we have taken an example bird. So in object-oriented programming languages, we will follow UML notation, Unified Modeling Language. So in UML language, we have a class. So the class is represented with a rectangle separated by 3 partitions. A rectangle separated by 3 partitions. So first one, class name. For example, birds. First one, birds, class name. Second one, attributes. Class consists of attributes. That means variable, fields. We can call it as fields or variables. So birds can have wings. Birds can have wings. That means variables. So birds can fly. Birds can fly. This is the method. This is the method. So typically a real-time example for class is birds. So birds has wings. Birds can fly. Birds can fly based on wings. Birds can fly based on by using the wings. By using the wings. That means in the Java program or any object-oriented program, if you have the method will be defined or implemented based on wings, based on variables, based on attributes. So based on the attributes only, the method is defined. So here there is a link between the method and attributes, variables. We can use the variables to implement the method. So birds can, suppose take an object. For example, birds. I have taken the birds as class. Object as parrot. So parrot is an object. Parrot is an object. Parrot can use this method, fly. Parrot can fly. Parrot can fly based on its own wings. Parrot has wings. Parrot can fly based on his own wings, his own variables. Suppose I can define another object. Birds, hen. Suppose take hen. Hen is an object. Hen can fly based on his own wings. Hen cannot fly based on parrot wings. Parrot cannot fly based on hen wings. That means each object has its own attributes. Each object has its own data. Each object has its own variables. So each method, if you implement any method, so that method will be of that object type or class type. So this is the general scenario that can be followed in the real programming environment. So that's why these modifiers, all these comes into picture. So this is the real-time example for classes. The importance of classes are objects as well as methods as well as variables. So here variables will be named as fields. So typically class is a real-time object. So next one, we have two types of classes. Normally, classes are two types. First one is top level class, second one is nested class. Top level class, second one is nested class. So nested class means the class within the class. For example, nested class means, suppose I am declaring the class as class my car, some statements. Again, I am defining the another class, another subclass as Honda cars. I am defining some some statements are there. Within that, I am defining another class Honda 1, Honda North. Suppose North India, something like that. North. I am defining another class. So likewise, we can define any number of subclasses to the main class. This is the main class. These are the subclasses. We can define any nested subclasses. So this is named as nested classes. Top level classes means this is the top level class. So this is the top level class. So these are the nested classes. These are the nested classes. These are the nested classes. This is the top level class. That means main class. We can treat it as main class. So every subclass will be defined under the main class, under the top level class. So every Java program has one main class and one main method. So that main class will be treated as top level class. Remaining subclasses will be treated as nested classes. So nested classes will have some categorization that we will see now. So there are so many types of nested classes available. There are so many types of nested classes supported by the Java. First one, nested static class. So nested static class. That means it is like any other static member of the enveloping class. Enveloping class means main class. Main class. So nested static class. That means within the main class, we are defining a subclass with using the keyword static. That means we can access that class without creating any object. Static means if you encounter static keyword in anywhere in Java, the meaning of the static is only one set of data is stored. Only one set of data is stored in static classes or static methods or static variables. So that can be accessed by any other class in the Java program, any other class. So if you declare any class or method or variable as static, it means that any other thing or any other data is accessed by the other classes without creating any object. So if you declare a class as a static, we can access that. We can access without creation of an object. So generally in Java, if you want to access any class or method or object or any data, if you want to access some data or variable or method, we have to create an object. Through the object only, we can access that methods or classes. So, but if you declare the class or method as static, then without object also, without creation of object also, we can access that data or class. So that type of classes will be named as nested static classes. Nested static classes. So that class is accessed without creation of any object. So that is nested classes. Next one is nested non-static classes. So non-static classes means we don't use any static keyword. So if you use static keyword, then it is called as nested static class. If you don't use the static keyword, then it will be treated as nested non-static classes. So there are three types of nested non-static classes. First one is member inner class, local class, anonymous class. Member inner class, local class, anonymous class. These are the three subtypes of nested non-static classes. These are the three subclasses of subcategories of nested non-static classes. So we can go from bottom. Anonymous class. So anonymous class means the class without a name. We can declare the class without a name, without an identifier. Then that class is named as anonymous class. Local class. So local class means a local class is defined within the method or within the code. So within the block. So if you define public static void main, in that if you declare any class, then it is called as local class, local to that block, local to that curly braces block. Member inner class. So member inner class means any subclass. So any subclass will be treated as member inner class. So these are the three subcategories of nested non-static classes. So this classification is initially classes are two types. First one top level class, second one nested class. Top level class means main class. Nested class means any subclasses. The class within the class is called as nested class. So nested classes says all these types of subclasses, subcategories. First one nested static class, non-static class. We have another categorization, derived class. So derived class or subclass. Suppose if you are going to implement the inheritance, we have subclass and superclass. So that class is named as derived class, superclass, generic classes. Generic classes means classes that declare one or more type of parameters. If you declare one or more type of parameter, then it is named as generic classes. Then final classes. So final class means final is a keyword, static is a keyword. If you declare final class my cars class name, then that means we cannot extend that class. That means we cannot create any subclasses. If you declare the class as final, we cannot create the subclasses. We cannot, so that will be treated as final class. So all these are the types of nested non-static classes, nested classes. So initially we have two types of classes, top level classes, nested classes. So nested classes has this categorization. Nested classes are divided into so many types. Nested static class, nested non-static class, derived classes, super classes, generic classes, final class. All these are comes under nested classes. So in the nested non-static classes, again, three categories are there. So this is the basic things in classes. So classes has basically two types, top level and nested. Nested means subclasses. We can treat it as subclasses. So next one, modifiers. Class modifiers. So we have defined the class syntax as like this. We are defining the class syntax as like this: modifier space class space identifier class body some statements end of the body. So this is the basic syntax for creating a class. Here the first thing is modifier. So modifier means we have two types of modifiers. Access modifiers. First one is access modifiers. Second one is non-access modifiers. First one is access modifiers and second one is non-access modifiers. So access modifiers means we know public static, public private protected, public private protector, access modifiers. That means we are restricting the access of that class. We are giving the restrictions. This class should be viewed by either all of the classes or some of the classes or some packages that we are defining as access modifiers or access specifiers. So before the class, we can declare the access modifiers. So these modifiers are two types. We have two types of modifiers: access modifiers, non-access modifiers. That means we are access modifiers means we are giving permissions while accessing that class that are that can be named as access specifiers. Non-access specifier means we are not defining any restrictions on accessing. These keywords are not defined for accessing. So you know that access specifiers: public, private, protected. So public means everywhere, anyone can access the data. Private means only only that class will be accessed. Protected means it can be accessed by that class and that derived classes. So if you won't declare the class any modifier, we simply give the class mycars. There is no modifier. So if you won't give any modifier means that can be treated as default. So that means that can be accessed by that package. All the methods or classes available in that package can be accessed. Other than that package, the class cannot be accessed. So these are the access methods. So these are the some of the access methods. So we have another type of access modifiers, non-access modifiers. So here we are providing some restrictions on accessing. That's why we are naming as access modifiers. Here we are not providing any restrictions on accessing, but we are defining some keywords here. Before the class, we are defining some keywords. So that are final, abstract, strict FP. So these are the three keywords can be used as modifiers. Can be used here. Final, class mycar. Abstract, class mycar. Strict FP, class mycar. So here final means if you declare any class as final, that is the we cannot derive any class, any subclasses. We cannot create any subclasses. That class is the final. So then we can declare, you can use the final keyword. We can use the final keyword. Then abstract. So if the class contains any abstract methods, that means the method consists of, the method is defined without any body. The method definition is not there. Simply the skeleton will be there. Then that type of methods will be named as abstract methods. So if you have any abstract methods, then we can declare the class as abstract. Abstract is a keyword. Final is a keyword. Next is strict FP. So strict FP is an keyword. Strict FP is an keyword. That means if you have any floating point or double values in the class, if you have any double values or floating values in the class, then strictly, that means float means 2.453. That means after point some precision will be there. After point only 5 digits or 4 digits will be displayed. If you take any double value, that may be 3.4 e power minus 10, like that, the values will be there. So that restriction must be followed. If you declare the variable, if you declare the class as strict FP, so any floating, if the class consists of any floating point variable or any real variable, that can be treated as very strict. That means the precision values and that 2.3, that precision must be strictly followed. So these are the main class modifiers. These are the class modifiers. two types of modifiers, access modifiers, non-access modifiers. So next one, class members. So class members. So class members means, so each class has its own members. So that members may be either fields or methods or nested classes or interfaces. So the fields are named as variables. Fields are named as variables. So class may have so many things, either variables or methods or nested subclasses or any interfaces. The class consists of all these things. So if you want to use any feature, we have to include within the class only. That is the concept of encapsulation. All these things are encapsulated as one class. So next one, in the class members, the main things are variables. Main things are variables. So the variables are different types of variables available. First one is non-static variables, class variables that will be treated as static variables. So we have two types of variables. Generally, we have two types of variables. First one, non-static variables. That means the variables which are not declared as static. That means int x equal to 10. So this is not static variable. This is not a static variable. That means there is no static keyword. If you want to make it a static space int x equal to 10. That means this variable is a static variable. So if you don't use the static here, then it is non-static variable. So non-static variables has two types. Non-static variables are two types. First one is instance variable. Second one is local variable. Non-static variables are two types. First one instance variable, second one local variable. So instance variable. So instance variable ante enti? So instance variables are variables declared within the class but outside the method. Instance variables are declared within the class but outside the method. So that type of variables are named as instance variable. Local variable. So local variables means the variables are declared within the block. So within the block means within the braces. The variables are declared within these braces. That those variables are named as local variables. So if you define the variable within the class and outside the method is called instance variable. But the variables declared within the block are called as local variables. So these are the non-static variables. That means we are not using the static keyword while declaring the variables. So next categorization is class variables. Generally, class variables are two types. First one, non-static variables. Second one, class variables. So class variables are named as static variables. So if you use any static keyword, then these will be named as class variables. So class keeps only one copy of these variables and all the objects share the same copy. That means class variables has only one copy of the variables. So if you want to access that variables by using the objects, we can access the variables. So one set of copy only available for the compiler or JDK. So these are the types of variables. That means types of fields available in Java. Here is one program to illustrate the static variables and instant variables. So if you use any static keyword, then it will be named as static variables. So instance variable, ID is named as instant variable. Why? Because the variable is declared within the class only. Variable is declared within the class, but outside the method. This is called instance variable. The variable declared within the class, but outside the method. This is the method. Outside the method, we are declaring the variable. Then it is called instance variable. So if you keep any static keyword, then it is named as static variable. So what exactly class consists of? This is the diagram. So what are the content will be available in the class? So the class has some private data, either public data or private method or public method. Our class consists of any interfaces or nested interfaces. Our class consists of any nested classes. So these are the content should be there in class, as well as public method, public methods. Public method means public static void main, that method. So each class consists of all these things. That means class members. So class consists of class members. So the class members are variables, methods, interfaces, subclasses. All these things are named as class members. So this is the class composition. So typically class consists of all these things. అర్థమైందా? ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? సో ఇవాళ ఏం చెప్పామంటే క్లాసెస్లో టైప్స్ చెప్పాం, టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ క్లాసెస్, టాప్ లెవెల్ క్లాసెస్, నెస్టెడ్ క్లాసెస్, అలాగే క్లాస్ మోడిఫైయర్స్ చెప్పాం, అలాగే క్లాస్ మెంబర్స్ చెప్పాం. సో క్లాస్లో ఏముంటాయి ఏంటి అనేది. సో టిపికల్గా క్లాస్ని ఎలా డిక్లేర్ చేయాలి, క్లాస్ని డిక్లేర్ చేసేటప్పుడు మోడిఫైయర్స్ ఉంటున్నాయి, ఆ మోడిఫైయర్స్ని ఎలా యూస్ చేసుకోవాలి, మోడిఫైయర్ స్పేస్ క్లాస్ నేమ్ బ్రేసెస్, ఫ్లవర్ బ్రేసెస్. ఆ సింటాక్స్ని బేస్ చేసుకుని మనకి మోడిఫైయర్స్ కావాలి, మోడిఫైయర్స్ అవైలబుల్గా ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయో చెప్పాం. క్లాస్ని డిక్లేర్ చేసినప్పుడు క్లాస్ మెంబర్స్ కావాలి, మెంబర్స్ అంటే వేరియబుల్స్ కావాలి, ఆ వేరియబుల్స్ని ఎలా డిక్లేర్ చేస్తాం, ఎలాంటి టైప్ ఆఫ్ వేరియబుల్స్ ఉన్నాయో చూసాం. సో ఇది క్లాసెస్ గురించి. సో నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్లో ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ గురించి చూద్దాం. సో ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? సో ఇంటి దగ్గర ప్రతి కాన్సెప్ట్కి ప్రోగ్రామ్ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి. మనకి నెట్లో బోల్డ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో నేను చెప్పిన ప్రతి కాన్సెప్ట్కి కూడా ఇంటి డేటా టైప్స్కి కానీ లేకపోతే ఆపరేటర్స్ కానీ లూప్స్కి కానీ ప్రతిదానికి కూడా మీరు ప్యారలల్గా నేను చెప్పిన కాన్సెప్ట్కి ప్యారలల్గా ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసి చూసుకోండి. హ్యాండ్స్ ఆన్ ప్రాక్టీస్ ఉంటుంది, థియరీయే కాకుండా ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఉంటుంది. మనకి జావాలో ఏ క్వశ్చన్ ఇచ్చినా సరే ఆ క్వశ్చన్కి మీరు చిన్న ప్రోగ్రామ్ అన్న రాయాలి, సింటాక్స్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అనేవి రాయాలి. సో ప్రతి కాన్సెప్ట్కి ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఉంటుంది. సో నేను చెప్పిన ఇవాళ ఏం చెప్తే అది మీరు చిన్న ప్రోగ్రామ్ తీసుకుని ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ని ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి. వైల్ లూప్ యూస్ చేసి చిన్న ప్రోగ్రామ్, డూ వైల్ లూప్ యూస్ చేసి ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్, ఫర్ లూప్ యూస్ చేసి ప్రోగ్రామ్, స్విచ్ స్టేట్మెంట్తో ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్. సో ఇలా ప్రతిదీ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి ప్యారల్గా. థియరీ చెప్తాను, థియరీతో పాటు ఇది ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి. సో అసైన్మెంట్ సబ్మిట్ చేయండి ఈవినింగ్ లోపల. సో మిగతావి నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్లో చూద్దాం. థ్యాంక్ యూ.